Do you know of a stellar leader or an outstanding organization that deserves a proper shout out? Nominate them for IBJ's awards. From 40 in their 40s and Women of Influence to Nonprofit and Healthcare Excellence Awards, we're celebrating rising stars, seasoned leaders, and organizations making a difference. Discover which programs are accepting nominations now at ibj.com/nominate.
Kristen, Dane. This episode of the Pete the Planner Show is brought to you by Indiana 529. I need you to close your eyes unless you're operating heavy machinery or juggling knives. Close your eyes. I want you to picture yourself on the sideline of your child's youth rec soccer game. It's bumblebees are all going around, and that's how little youth soccer works. People run in packs like bumblebees. And you realize in that moment, your child is terrible at soccer. Then you think back to their basketball game from 6 months previous, and you're like, well, they're not good at that either. And then it hits you. I better start saving for college because a sports scholarship is on the horizon. Not exactly. So that's why you go to Indiana529.com. Start saving for your kids' college education today. Give them optionality. Give them flexibility. I was having a discussion about private high school with my wife the other day. We have a friend who's sending their kid to private high school. And I was like, yeah, that's not for us. She goes, well, can you use an Indiana 529 for private high school? And I said, in fact, you can, especially if you go to Indiana529.com to learn more. Indiana529.com. I've been using it for 17 years, and I encourage you to do the same. Hello, friends.
Hello, Pete.
Hello.
What do we got here? We might need an intervention on these graphics, Pete. Was that Lee saying that?
Who used a stylized picture of himself there?
Yeah. So Dame has been sending around AI generated images of himself to the women of our office.
Yes.
So Dame shows me, we have a meeting yesterday, everybody. Dame shows me these pictures that he generated himself of via AI, and he's wildly attractive in these photos. Like just unrealistically Dame.
Oh.
And he said he showed them to his wife, and she had a very positive reaction. I showed them to a female colleague of ours, and she goes, she says the D word. Dame.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, how is he so attractive? Dame, what's it like looking at that and also knowing you don't look like that?
I mean, it's like what I could have been in an alternate reality.
But it's so close. Like, that's the weird part, Kristen. When you see it, it looks exactly like him, yet I get none of the tingles from him that I get from this photo.
I know.
Why? And then here's the worst part. You gave me the exact same prompt. I put in a picture of me, and I look worse.
Yeah, it didn't work so well.
Dame's a big AI guy, just draining the water from northern Indiana with all his usage.
It's me.
Straight from Kristen's basement. Kristen, how you doing? That's a stolen joke.
It's all right.
It's not all right.
Kristen, is this your topic this week?
It is, in fact.
All right. Well, we're going to Speedy Show Thursday, special Thursday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. I am headed to a soccer tournament, so I am out tomorrow. I am not playing in said tournament. Getting an Airbnb with 3 other families.
Ooh.
Dame, did you ever watch The Real World on MTV back in the day?
Of course I did. One of the most famous people from those early seasons just made an appearance on social media. And you remember Puck?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he has a little cooking segments on TikTok now.
Boy, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah.
I labeled the group chat for the people staying in this house as Real World Bradenton.
Did they get the joke?
I don't know. One of them is not from the United States. Kristen, you don't understand the reference to The Real World?
I know none of any of what you just said.
Well, that's okay. I did hot Pilates this morning, and I did the math. There was at least 7 individuals in that room that were literally half my age or younger.
Mm-hmm.
That's humbling.
But how many total?
Why?
There is 14 people in the room.
Okay.
I mean, I felt good that I can still do some things, but it's also like, man, I felt really old in there.
Yeah. It's going to get worse. I got bad news for you.
In what way?
We're just going to keep getting older.
Oh my gosh. All right, Kristen's topic, where I'm waiting for 5 minutes and 20 seconds for the vacuum to hit. 3, 2, 1. No. You got to be kidding me. Oh, there it is. Okay, Kristen, let's do the show. Your topic, I'm reading it. You're guiding us.
You're still in a vacuum.
I'm still in a vacuum?
There we go.
Yeah, you sound fine now.
Gosh, the top 1% podcast, y'all. Okay, let's get going. I don't think I've had enough caffeine today, to be honest with you.
Same.
I don't think my brain's working, so that's bad.
Just have somebody bring some caffeine in. That's fine.
Nope, didn't work. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here's how the show works. You email us, askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's askpete@petetheplanner.com. And we will read your question on the air potentially, as we are going to do today. And it will become the entire topic for everything we're doing. Joining me now on the show is my normal group, Kristen Alanius, Damian Dunn. Kristen, hello.
Hello, Pete.
Damian Dunn, hello.
Good day.
All right, y'all, we got an email, and so I'm going to read it now. Pete, Dame, and Cricket. My husband and I are both 35 with 2 young kids. We've been renting for the past 5 years and currently pay $2,750 a month in rent. Our landlord just told us he will probably sell when our lease ends this summer, so we're trying to decide what to do next. We thought about buying for a few years, but our landlord is so great that we never felt like buying, and taking on the additional responsibility made sense with our current life, and the additional responsibility made sense with our current lifestyle. We earn about $155,000 combined. We have around $70,000 saved. No credit card debt, and about $30,000 left in student loans at 4%. We contribute 10% to our 401ks. Homes in our area that fit our family are in the low 400,000s. We're considering putting down 8%, so we don't drain our savings. Our lender estimates our monthly payment, including taxes, insurance, and PMI, would be about $2,900. We keep hearing that this is a terrible time to buy and that we should wait for rates to come down. Are we crazy for even considering this? Lauren. Before we get started, I can't talk nor read today, so this is going to be an excellent program. Kristen, what is your very first thing that jumps out to you? 2 or 3 things that jump out, just like things you want to get off your chest about this email. Go.
I think it's really interesting that they had a really great experience with a landlord. I feel like that's not super common in the work that we do. People are usually trying to escape their landlord. So I think that's really a compelling portion of this email. I think that the fact that they have a pretty decent amount saved in respect to their income is really, really great. And the 2 young kids thing stands out to me for sure.
Dame, what jumps out to you?
No credit card debt. Pretty healthy income for the ages that they've got. Like Kristen said, meaningful savings for this point as well. Contributing, I think they said they were contributing to retirement at 10-ish% clip as well. And then student loans at a reasonable rate. I think those are part of the equation there.
My first thing jumped out to me is $70,000 saved based on their age, based on their income. I think is really great. Like, it's really, really, really great. And not that it matters. I think there was some level of an event that got them to that, because that's really hard to do. I would also say I think that the chance of this being a good idea for them is really high. given that their rent's $2,750 and the payment on this new house is $2,900. And the one downside to all of this is they are not contributing enough to their 401ks at 10% at 35 years old. We don't know the balance of that, but we also know that you got to be between 12 to 15% consistently as a household to be in a good spot. So we will start there. We will talk about what is going on in the housing market right now. Every time I pick up a computer to read the newspaper, I notice that there's a lot of uncertainty in the housing market. Like there's, it is a, what do we call this? A buyer's market right now. It's not a seller's market as it has been. Kristen, do you believe that?
I don't know if I believe that to be true, which is why I'm so obsessed with this email, because I got to dig into real estate data this week. So I think we'll hit the data points on that in segment 2, but I might have a different opinion.
Dame, as you look at just the classic, should a person rent or buy, are they checking any of the boxes here?
They're checking all the boxes, Pete. I'll let you decide which boxes they're going to check, though, which column they're going to fall into. No, they are in a pretty unique situation. I mean, they've got some assets, some leverage that they can use to get into a house. I think the decision will eventually come down to buy the house you can afford. It's a conversation that we've had time and time again, that you have to make sure that it's going to fit into your lifestyle, and you're not going to make yourself house poor at this point. So I think they are well positioned, especially for the stage of their life and what they've managed to accomplish financially, even though there's a few things they might be able to improve on. But I think they're ready to get into a house if they want to take on I think they said was the extra responsibility in the email that they sent as well, and that they can do it in a financially responsible way.
I was talking to my buddy the other day. It was yesterday morning, and he said, I will always rent because I don't want to make anything my problem. Like if something goes wrong, I just call someone and it's done. It's kind of hard to argue against that. I mean, there's obviously advantages to owning, but if that's important to you, renting's the way for you.
Yeah, as someone who's had quite a bit done on their house here of late, playing general contractor as a homeowner is really not a lot of fun. There have definitely been times over the past couple of months that I've just thought, wow, I really miss the condo, and 2, I really could go for renting an apartment right now.
Dame, can I jump ahead 30 years real quick when these people are 65?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was hoping you were going to push us ahead 30 years because that wasn't going to be fun.
No, just them. Okay. We're still the same age. You and I are still nearly 50. Don't worry. I was looking at Zillow the other day, and I was looking at the property value of my home, and then I was looking at what I owe on my home, and there's a pretty big gap there, which is really good, right? There's a lot of equity in that. I started thinking about a conversation that we all were having several months ago on the show around reverse mortgages and like how they can be appropriately used in situations. And I thought, there's a lot of pain in the necks of home ownership, but when it gets down to it and you've got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of equity in that home, even if you continue to live in it, that's a heck of a lot better than renting with $150 cash flow difference a month to do something with. So Dame, maybe we start there of like finding reasons to not rent because the math of homeownership is so much better. Am I being too obtuse here?
No, I mean, the other things that we can't necessarily quantify for in homeownership that we're going to run into. I mean, whether it's the issues that you weren't aware of when you bought the house or things that need to be replaced along the way, all those things are going to add up, and they're not getting cheaper. So if we're talking about a 30-year time period, we're talking about tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of improvements during that time frame.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kristen.
The other thing there is, what are the odds that they stay in this house for 30 years? And generally people level up their house a couple times too. So I don't think that math is as perfect as it might seem.
Yeah, I started thinking about the math of the down payment here. So they're thinking about putting down, what, $32,000 on this home which would leave them with $38,000 in savings. Kristen, is that your math?
I am not good at math, so
Oh.
yes.
Okay. So $38,000 left. Their household income, damn, I'm trying to figure out what their emergency fund should legitimately be here real quick. Let's go 100, go 8 times 6, 48. It's still about $10,000 short of what it should be in an emergency fund once they put that down payment on. And then they take on everything Kristen just said, which is the maintenance costs, the upkeep of homes. Dave, how much, what do you have on your clock here? My clock didn't start.
9:05.
All right, excellent. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break. And coming up after the break, Kristen's going to go deep into the data. Oh, she had a great time on the Google this week, and she's going to share that with you. All of that's next on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner.
The fact that you didn't have a clock and you asked at 9:05 is quite impressive.
I don't know. I think it's reckless.
I mean, you shouldn't have done it, but
Yeah. Okay. Let's play a little game called Is This Maniacal? Kristen and I brought up this game in the departmental meeting yesterday to start with my dinner decision. And we're going to put it towards Dame and you once again.
okay.
Dame, a group of 50 people going out to eat.
Maniacal.
Full stop. Dame's out.
Dame's out. Okay, group of 50 people going out to eat. The only way that the reservation would be accepted at a very popular touristy restaurant is if we paid on one check. And because they refused to split the check for that many people. I decided that, you know what? I like math. Things like this don't bother me. I'm not worried about getting stuck with anything. So I volunteered to I'll pay it, and then I'll just deal with Zelle and Venmo and Cash App and Bitcoin for payment from everyone else. My life partner said, that is the most stressful thing I've ever considered. Why are you doing that? And I said, because it does not stress me out. So Dame, I put it to you. Related to this situation, good idea, or am I a moron? This situation alone, please.
Can I ask one follow-up question?
Of course, you can ask whatever you want.
How many family groups are there in this 50 people? Ballpark.
Probably 18, maybe.
Oh, wow. All right. Are you expecting 100% repayment?
In my mind, I bet I eat an extra 100. I think it'll cost $3,000 ish.
Yeah.
And I think I'll eat 100 above what I should eat. It's sort of where my brain is.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as long as you're going into it eyes wide open, it's easy enough to send those little requests out. As long as everybody's on board. I mean, you could ask them to track what they're spending on their own little calculators, which would be dangerous. But the check's not going to come with names attached to it, so you're going to have to either everybody's going to have to be all in and stack hands and say, "Hey, send us what we owe you," or you're going to end up eating way more of this, I think, than what you intended, especially when it comes to the tip.
Damian Dunn, you have underestimated your father, Pete, here. He has a system ready.
Yeah, I plugged the menu and prices into chat and had it create a spreadsheet that'll track what everyone's eating. So it just calculates in real time.
There's no water left on the planet.
Yeah.
How are you going to allocate which food is going to which person?
So as the server is taking people's order on my phone, I can just do my own ordering system. Now, look, here's the thing. Am I going to enjoy the dinner by being social with others? No, it's a math exercise. I'm at work. I'm going to get tipped. You know?
Can you, for me, whether you do this or not, I guess it really doesn't matter, but just tell me you did it this way. Can you just like follow the server around like behind them? Like, is they're ordering, you're putting it into your phone too? So it's like they're ordering to two people.
Do you want to hear the alternate plan I had that was close to that?
is, of course, I'm also streaming these soccer games from South Florida. So I've got all my mics set up. I was going to mic the server and then record the track and then feed that track into AI and have it just price everything out in one thing. What do you think about that?
That seems a lot easier.
Anyway, I'm a moron. I think I'll keep you posted.
Please do, because I'm really curious as to how much you end up eating.
Kristen, okay, let's do this. This is biggest waste of money. How much will I eat above and beyond my portion of the bill? What dollars? Go ahead. What do you think?
That's hard because it's obviously family dependent. There will be 2 families who don't pay you.
At all?
I don't know. Yes.
I disagree. We're all really close.
Listen, I told you this yesterday. It is clear that you have not planned a bachelorette trip in some time. And if you had, you wouldn't have signed up for this.
I'll just say, as much as I've been working out, I've only just been the entertainment at bachelorette parties recently. Dame, how much do you think I end up eating?
I think the tip is where it gets really, really bad for you. And so it's going to be $250.
Oh, here's what I think. I think tax down there is 7%, gratuity is 18%. So it's an easy 1.25x times people's, and that's easy math. I mean, I can do that all day. So we'll be okay. And here's the other thing. I'm not drinking, so I'm not going to be inebriated in any way, shape, or form. Alcohol is not going to cloud this math. I'm going to be all over it.
Well, may the odds be ever in your favor.
3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show, joined by Kristen Alanius, Damian Dunn, and you. Talking housing market. Should this couple who emailed us, 35 years old, 155 grand of income, $70,000 saved in an emergency fund / savings account, no credit card debt, 30 grand in student loans, putting 10% in their 401ks. They want to buy a $400,000 ish house. Their current rent is $2,750 a month. They're looking at a total house payment of $2,900, but they're nervous about the housing market and rates. Kristen likes data. Kristen, of the Data Show, what do we got?
So the first thing that I find really interesting here is you mentioned in the last segment how many articles we see about the housing market. And there's always this, to me, distraction of why it's not going the way people think that it should. The previous distraction was interest rates. It was like, well, interest rates are really high and like that's going to affect the housing market in some way, shape, or form. Do you guys know what the 30-year average rate is today, or the 30-year rate is today?
Oh, we have a colleague who just is closing on a house here in about 2 weeks. I asked him the other day what he's paying. 6.375 is what he's paying on the 30. I don't know how that compares to what you've seen.
Oh, Dame, do you think that's high or low? You want the over or under?
I was going to go under, but like 6.125.
6.05.
Oh, boy, he needs a new mortgage broker.
So, but here's my thing is like in the grand scheme of things, not really a bad rate. Do you think that we're far enough removed from the crazy rates of COVID that the 6 isn't a shock to people anymore?
Ooh, that's a good question. The 6 has probably been around long enough that people have just acclimated to it at this point. But I think the bigger issue, because you're right, historically, low 6s, very nearly 5s, not a bad rate for a 30-year mortgage. The issue is the price of the house that they're buying.
Yeah, 6 does not bother me at all. And I'm also like, I'm one of the insufferable people that have a much lower rate. But 6 is not terrible based on where it has been. I think Dame's right, though. It's like 5% of this, 6% of that. But then that just keeps going up in value. That has nothing to do with interest rates.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So I have a couple of data points that I thought were compelling. I looked at a bunch of Redfin data. And I've got in overall inventory levels. I thought maybe we could guess. I have median days on the market. And I've also looked at median days on the market for the counties that each of us live in, because I thought that might be fun.
Oh.
Price appreciation trends. And then we can just kind of like talk about how that may or may not feel disjointed. Fair?
This show just got great.
Well, Okay, so inventory levels. Active listings as a percentage, year over year, they up, they down, how much, What does it feel like to the two of you based on neither of you are shopping for a house? So this is solely in the media that you consume.
I think it's up. I think it's up 8%.
Damien?
I will take down by 5.
Down 1.46% for active listings. I didn't think that was that crazy.
Wait, can we pause?
Yeah.
Wait. Okay. So it's down.
Right.
So that means it's a seller's market.
See, that's what I'm saying. And people keep saying that it's a buyer's market.
Well, I mean, yes. So the inventory is slightly down.
Slightly, yes.
But I think the number of buyers is down too, because people are viewing the interest rates as so-so at best. They're waiting for interest rates to drop, and people are still having a hard time with the cost of everything else. So I think the buyers have receded faster than the inventory.
So we're back to blaming the interest rates.
No. The larger economy.
Okay.
But interest rates are a small part of it, but they may be shouldering an unfair portion of the blame.
Okay. So median days on the market, because that's the other thing too, is like, well, homes are sitting for a really long time. This maybe isn't fair because I don't know how much context the two of you have on like how long a house has or hasn't been sitting on the market. But do you want to throw a guess out there what the national median is right now?
Yes, I do. I'm very committed to this. I'm going to go 151 days.
Damien Dunn.
Boy, I was going to go with like 90 and thought that was 90. I'll go with 90.
You are both way off. It is 67 is the median number of days on the market.
My daughter just got weird when you said 6-7.
Oh, I didn't say it like
You
that.
did.
I didn't. I should have said 68. Anyway.
Wow. Okay. So again, seller's market.
I feel like it's not. Now, it is an increase of 7 days from a year ago this week. But I just feel like 1 week is not enough to be like writing article after article of the meltdown of the real estate market.
This is just 1 year that we're talking about.
Correct.
Okay.
Year over year.
All right.
So what I thought was really interesting is like, are there areas that are like maybe more impacted that, okay, are these articles actually representative of some areas more than others? So of the three of us, whose county do you think is actually the median number of days on market's actually the lowest?
You would think it's me.
I think it's Kristen.
It's actually Damien. So if you want to move where Dame's at, median days on market is 35 days.
Wow. Everyone wants to be neighbors, by next door neighbors from Dame, with means 4 miles from Dame. Everyone wants to be him.
It's the way God intended.
Yeah.
What I find really interesting about that is if someone's buying a property with a mortgage, I mean, 20 days to close is aggressive. So you're talking that house only actually sat for 15? Is that right?
Can I also make a really strange assertion that I think the people buying properties in Dame's area likely don't necessarily always need financing, not because it's just like they're all just uber wealthy like Dame?
I don't know what kind of facsimile of Carmel you think I live in. But we have 0 roundabouts in this neck of the woods.
That's true.
Sounds like a lot of traffic to me.
Okay, so counties, do you guys want to guess counties that are really skewing that median number up? Like counties where median time on market is not great right now? And you can see the cities because some of them I had to look up the counties because I didn't know.
Marion, Indiana.
No, actually, that is 43 days.
Oh, okay. Dang.
I didn't look. That is not one of the high ones because I pulled some Zillow data and then compared it to the charts that Redfin puts together. So Miami County is 104 days. Bexar County, which is San Antonio, is 104. Austin, Texas. Do you want to guess median days on market in Austin right now?
Like 5 days?
No, I bet they're they've had some turnover in housing and some issues because I think supply is going up there right now as well. So 90 days.
182 days.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I find this question to be so compelling, is like where they live could totally change my opinion on if now may or may not be the time to buy a house. By the way, would you like to guess one of the best counties to be selling a house in right now?
No, I don't. You tell me.
Buffalo, New York. Erie County, 23 days.
Nice.
Wow. All right. Let's talk about lake effect sales. Coming up after the break, we are going to come down definitively with these folks. Should they buy a house now? Should they wait? All that is next, right here on the Pete the Planner Show. I am Pete the Planner. I don't know what it is. If my brain was operating at a 9 out of 10 on last week's show, I'm at about a 4 today.
Oh.
I don't know.
Must be all that distraction from thinking through your dinner tabulation scheme.
I'm happy with it, frankly. I think I eat $100.
That's what you said. I think you're wrong, but we'll see.
We will see.
You know what I do think is really very interesting is we have a very diverse team in many aspects, like the people are going to things. So the methods of which people will pass money to each other, it's just all going to be very different. Like there is going to be Zelle.
Sure.
There is going to be Venmo. There is going to be Cash App. There is going to be cash. And I'm sure someone will try to stroke a check, you know?
A check?
I'm just saying, some olds like me.
Do you think people will adjust what they eat because they have to pay you for it?
No.
That's good.
What? I like up or down?
I don't know. I just the chain, like they, I guess, I would have assumed that they wouldn't order what they would normally, and it would be less expensive because they had to pay you for it.
Well, saying out loud, I had 6 Long Island iced teas is a little embarrassing, so maybe.
Yeah.
Especially if you're 13.
That many.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we'll find out.
I'm way too interested in this. The more you talk about it, the more I'm interested in
I know.
how this goes.
I know. Like I'm both a participant and a bystander. And by bystander, I mean the deepest participant.
I would get you meta glasses for this just to.
So you know I'm taking a picture of the itemized receipt at the very least and plugging that thing in.
Of course. I mean, that was table stakes.
It's a seafood restaurant. Okay.
Oh.
Let's keep it moving. Kristen,
Yes.
segment 6 in 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner Show. A classic whodunit. No. A classic, should someone continue to rent or should they jump into the deep infested waters of home ownership? Damian Dunn joins me. Kristen Hellenius joins me. There's an H in there. And Kristen, I'm going to recap the facts for the people just joining us. Those are not going to be the people on the podcast. These are going to be people on the radio that just went into Menards and got a 10% discount on everything they put into a paper bag. We got 2 people at 35 years old. They have 2 young children. I don't know the age of the kids. We also have $70,000 saved. We have $155,000 of combined annual income, no credit card debt, $30,000 left on student loans at a very low interest rate of 4%. And these folks are contributing 10% to their 401ks. Their current payment is $2,750 a month in rent, and they believe they're going to have a house payment of $2,900. There we are. Kristen, no equivocating. Should they do it or not?
Buy the house.
Wow. Dame, did you? I can't believe she didn't equivocate. To be honest, like I was sort of waiting for a.
Damien.
Oh. Dame, what do they do?
Buy it if.
Oh, here it is.
You want me to go into the ifs?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I mean, go ahead. I mean, Kristen already called you out for it, and then you were on brand, so go ahead.
tell me if you disagree. If they plan to stay there at least 5 years.
Disagree.
Kristen?
Only because I don't think that's realistic. People always think that they are going to stay or they aren't going to stay, and then life happens and they have a third kid, and so they need more house, or like there. I just put so little into how long people think they're going to stay in houses that
they're going to have squat for equity if they move with under 5 years, because they've also got PMI going into this thing. So they can't keep rolling money into that if they wanted to. They've got other things they've got to pay for. They've got to up their 401k contribution. They're going to have to, pump up the emergency fund a little bit. They need time to get to financial stability. If they buy this house, they have to be there at least 5 years.
I'm going to say Dame's favorite phrase and Kristen's least favorite phrase. I agree with Dame. Kristen, I think you're projecting on how often people move because you happen to move often.
I think that you're projecting because the two of you never move.
What do you mean?
No, we've moved, but at post 35, like you're not there yet. You are 9 years away from being 35.
That's
Why,
true. You're right.
Why would I move?
Moved.
There's no reason to move.
I think people move more than you guys. I know I'm weird. I know I move more than most people. Yeah. But I think people move more than you guys.
No, look, you're 35 with 2 kids. You have an extra kid, buy a chest of drawers and just shut a drawer with the kid. It's fine. People used to do that. They're not moving because they have another kid or a wild weekend away in Pokagon and come back with twins. They're staying in their home.
Maybe
one toboggan, end up with twins.
Yeah. Listen, you're talking all Northeast Indiana. You're getting me hot under the collar. Listen,
I was really trying to impress you. I want to laugh out loud, really loud, but I can't because I'm on air. Kristen, I 5 years is nothing of a commitment with 2 kids. Nothing. I mean, you got the jobs thing, or they blah, blah, blah. But you can never account for that. And I would also say, ideally, they're able to refinance in about a year and a half or 2 years. However, I think they're going to need, 3/4 of a point to justify that. I don't think we're going to get there in the next 12 months. That's for sure. I mean, it might be 18 months before they get there.
And then they'd have to be willing to stay for another 6 years after that for a break even.
Dame, how old were you when you moved into your current home?
About 35.
Okay. Oh, and you had
2 kids.
2 kids. You don't say. I moved into my house at 31. I want the coroner to show up at my home to pull me out someday. Like, that's how long I want to be there, because it's just such a pain in the neck to move. Like,
true.
I shouldn't we be promoting people staying in houses as opposed to out there stoking the markets because they want to watch HGTV and have shiplap? Is that a thing? Is shiplap a thing?
Did you call it chiplap?
I said shiplap. Is shiplap a thing?
Yes.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
I thought you were being funny because Chip and Joanna Gaines were the ones who did it. I thought that was just a really good joke. You should have just gone with it.
Dang it. Yeah, that's what I meant. Dame, I'll say not only should these people move and do this, they should move and stay there. Like, I think for us to go, well, move, but when you move again in 3 years, no, it's a terrible idea. Move now and stay there. Let's stop giving nuanced advice and let's start giving advice that works. The advice is this: go and stay. You're already under contributing to your 401k. You're already going to have an inadequate emergency fund, and you would have no idea what it is to have the upkeep costs of a home. Go there, stay, figure it out. Don't keep chasing shiplap.
I was all in with you on go and stay, and then you rattled off like 3 reasons not to.
To go?
To not go, to not move, or to not buy this particular house that they're planning on.
Oh,
Dude, no No, if people are undersaving for 401k and people don't have enough in an emergency fund, and that's the reason they don't move, no one would move because everyone's undersaving. These people are really close to it, so they should move.
Should they?
Wait, I think all of three of us said they should move, and now somehow I've talked us out of that.
No, they should move. They should buy a house. I just think it's silly to think that they're going to stay in that house until the coroner shows up at their house. Is that what you said?
I don't know. I've been watching a lot of thrillers. It can be sooner than you think.
Yeah, true.
I do. Here's what worries me about this exact situation. Here's where this goes off the rails in a very real way. They're looking at homes in the low 400s. If they end up with a home in the high 400s, this whole thing falls apart immediately.
That is an excellent point. They really do have to stick to the budget. And you need to have, if your realtor and your lender are giving you these numbers, you need to have someone who's showing you houses who is going to respect that and not show you things outside of this budget. You need to set that boundary up front.
Dame, I just have to that point, $150 a month current first year increase in housing expenses. Okay, you could probably figure that out. But we all know with property taxes, second year and cost of insurance, second and third year, that $2,900 is $3,100 before they know it. And where they were renting, it was probably $2,750 for a while.
Yeah, that's why I think they're probably looking a little bit more house than what they need to. I think they need to lower that bullseye a little bit. And like Kristen said, you have to have an agent with you that is going to respect what you're trying to do, because this is a huge purchase for you. Even if you plan on moving in the next 3 years, it's still a huge purchase for you. So you got to do it right. You got to nail this one. There's a lot of things in your financial life where you can get close and it's good enough. This is one you've got to really focus in on.
All right, help me with this with 50 seconds left, Kristen. Give me a scenario and how long they should wait to buy this first house. Give me what should they do to lock this in and to be in a better situation? How long should they wait?
If to the point where they have 10% down and they have a 6-month emergency fund, whatever that math is.
Well, the 10% down is going to be pretty easy. The emergency fund's the hard part, right? It's another $8,000 towards 10% down, 8 to 10, depending on where they land. Yeah. So that's why they should move now, because it seems marginal to me. All right. Coming up after the break, biggest waste of money of the week in the news. And will the Chicago Bears move to Hammond, Indiana? Not at all. This is Leverage. I'm Pete the Planner. 0% chance. 0.
Yeah. I don't see it. I think it's been fun to talk about and, see the drawings about what they could do and some areas that could really use some attention, but there's no shot the Bears move.
Kristen, I'd ask you, but I don't think you care, and I don't think you've been following the story.
You think there's no shot they move, period, Damien?
No shot they move to Indiana.
Okay, fair enough.
So the most cynical question to ask around this is, was it a complete waste of time, of money, of Indiana folks to have done this just so Arlington can have more leverage over the situation? Or actually the Bears would have more leverage?
I mean, it's going to be hard to say that it wasn't a waste of time if nothing comes of it, because it's not like there's going to be another professional team that's going to rush right in there and say, hey, we really like those drawings you did. What do you think about giving us some tax breaks to, do some economic development in stadiums in there? I think it was refreshing to see what some of those areas could look like. But if the Bears don't, and they won't move there, then it was probably just an exercise in spending money.
The Hammond Browns could be.
There we go.
All right. 3, 2, 1. This week's biggest waste of money of the week, right here on the Pete the Planner Show, is the Louis Vuitton NBA basketball Virgil Abloh's May he rest in peace. Collaboration with the NBA produced Louis Vuitton's first basketball, full-size Wilson wrapped in embossed monogram leather that bridges 90s courtside culture with French luxury craftsmanship. The dark leather shell features embossed LV monogram patterns alongside dual NBA and Louis Vuitton signatures, turning regulation equipment into collectible art, a nod to the golden era when Michel Jourdain, Dennis Rodman, and Shaq transformed basketball into a global spectacle. Display it on a shelf next to a championship ring and or vintage Jordans, or actually play with it if you're brave enough to risk scuffing a piece of fashion history. Dame, right now, this is something. Kristen, what do you think a person would pay for this Louis Vuitton NBA basketball?
There's only one.
I see one here, and it is for sale, and this is the one we're speaking of. I don't know how many there are. I assume there's more, but there is one here for purchase.
This is $1,900.
Okay, that is certainly consistent with your style of guessing. Dame?
I'm going to say this is $6,700.
$8,995. It's a slam dunk. Dane, what's in the news this week?
Well, to continue our trend of story, young Americans are officially waving the white flag on housing and opening brokerage accounts instead. New data from JP Morgan shows that the percentage of 25 to 39-year-olds moving money into investment accounts more than tripled over the last decade. Among 26-year-olds, the number jumped from 8% to 40%. That is not a typo. Why? Well, $500,000 houses at today's rates can run you about $3,500 a month. Meanwhile, rent might be $2,500. Invest the difference at 10% for 30 years, and on paper, the renter ends up way ahead on paper. Here's the catch. Stocks don't return 10% every year, and renters don't magically invest the difference with monk-like discipline. Also, homeownership gives you leverage. You control $500,000 asset with a fraction down. So this isn't houses bad, stocks good. It's math versus behavior. If you rent and invest consistently, great. And if you buy and invest consistently, also great.
I love that stat. I hope it's true that 40% of 26-year-olds are investing in brokerage accounts.
It came from the Wall Street Journal. So actually, JP Morgan through the Wall Street Journal.
Okay, so we're going to do a little, does that pass the sniff test? Kristen, 40% of 26-year-olds are putting money into a brokerage account. Do you say baloney or do you say macaroni? Yes or no?
I think they have put money into a brokerage account. I don't think anywhere near that many are like using a brokerage account. I think there's a distinction with a difference there.
Okay, so actively contributing is what you're saying.
Yeah, there's no way.
Damien, as I call you in text messages, asking for help with tasks.
That's right. I think Kristen's right. I think the pandemic has pumped those numbers up a lot. And now they're just kind of they're getting 1099s every year for interest and dividends.
I'm very cynical today. I think JP Morgan, that's who did the thing here. Whoever they asked and whoever they surveyed, because it's a sample size, they surveyed like 1,500 people. I mean, that's how these things work. I don't think it was a good sample. Like, I think that think about it. Just seems like people they could get access to. I just think 40% is way, way too high. I bet it's 22%, something like that.
Oh boy, I don't know. Even 20% sounds high to me.
It's impressive. 20% was impressive.
Yeah, totally.
What else is in the news?
Retail investors may soon get a crack at some of the hottest private companies on the planet. A fund called Power Law Corp is moving to list its shares on a public exchange, giving everyday investors a shot at owning pieces of firms that normally only big institutions see. Companies like SpaceX, Anthropic, OpenAI, and defense maker Anduril. Power Law isn't creating new shares by the way of a typical IPO. Instead, it plans on a direct listing. Existing shareholders can sell their stakes through this vehicle once regulators sign off. And that's notable because private companies these days are staying private longer or skipping traditional public offerings altogether, locking in much of the growth upside behind venture capital walls. This fund aims to open that door to, quote, regular investors, but caveats remain. These kinds of funds can carry higher fees, limited liquidity, and valuations that aren't updated daily like normal stock. In other words, it's not a guaranteed shortcut to early stage gains, and investors should know exactly what they're buying before they dive in.
Cynical Pete here. I know a thing or two about equity in a private company. A, I would love for you to send me that article. B, I'm not sure this is good. I'm not sure this is good for anybody involved. I think it gets down to the valuation front there of like, I look at us, at the most, our valuation is done once a year. Most, probably every 2 years or so. And so that creates liquidity issues and that creates theoretical mispricing. Mm-hmm. And I don't think the average consumer, the retail investor, has any business with any of that, especially behaviorally, but just my opinion.
I could see this being an option for accredited investors potentially, but if it does actually open up to retail, it's going to be an issue at some point.
Listen, a little nerd talk here. At that point, if it's accredited investor, they should just become an LP of a VC fund, and then they're just paying 2 and 20. I don't know what the fees are on this thing.
I don't even.
But I assume they're in line with that. And that has been nerd talk right here on the Pete the Planner. Joe, Dan, what else in the news?
U.S. stocks are off to their worst relative start in decades. New data shows the S&P 500 has essentially flatlined so far this year. Not a reason to panic, by the way. A flat couple of months. No big deal. While global markets outside the U.S., it makes sense, global, not the U.S. Anyway, they've climbed roughly 7 to 8% in the same stretch, the widest gap since 1995. You remember those days, Pete? They were so great. That means investors in overseas stocks are sitting on far bigger early gains than folks who stuck with U.S. indexes. There are a few reasons for the divergence. American markets, especially big tech, have struggled with shaky earnings, volatility tied to artificial intelligence bets, and concerns about stretched valuations. Meanwhile, some foreign markets, both developed and emerging, have delivered stronger returns and attracted more capital. Now, a lagging start doesn't mean the U.S. stocks are broken, but it does underline why some investors are talking more about diversification and less about home country bias. And with interest rate expectations still in flux and big macro events on the horizon, this could be the year to test whether global investors are going to put their money where their mouth is.
Kristen, you've got to be thinking what I'm thinking here, but who's to blame for this?
I don't know.
The Obama administration. Just kidding, everybody. That's called humor.
Yeah.
Dame did a nice lesson for all team meeting yesterday, just on volatility and understanding, like when the market goes down and the fear of the media is getting stoked and all these sorts of things. And you're, oh no, if you just take a breath and you say, would you like to buy this at a discount? Things will get a lot easier. Actually, Dame, the example you gave yesterday is like, would you rather buy, if you know something eventually is going to be $200 a share, and you got $100 to invest in whatever this thing is to start, would you rather buy one share at $100 or 2 shares at $50? Mm-hmm. And what's amazing about that sort of idea is it makes a person take a beat for a second and think about it. It's not as obvious as you might think, even though it's an obvious answer, which is you'd rather have 2 at 50 because then you're going to have $400 value versus $200 value. Anyway. Well, that's this week's show. Cynical Pete will be back next Friday with tales of tribulation. I don't know. That's all I got. Sending good vibes are all that's in the budget. I'm Pete the Planner. This is Pete the Planner. Shout. All right. So do you guys want the final total on Saturday morning? You guys want me to text you?
Yes. As a point of clarity, how many times are you willing to reach out to these people to ask them to pay you? Individually.
Well, I think that's a good bit of information.
Twice.
So my goal is to get 95% of the payment at the restaurant that night. Okay.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I just don't have, I'm not worried about it. Maybe guess we're going to find out who's naive.
You just get a big piece of poster board, list every family there, and then put a line through them when you pay it, and then you tape it to your table as you're broadcasting, so everybody that walks by sees who hasn't paid you.
Or what I do is as I go to just, I'm not the host of this thing, I'm just handing them a card. I wonder if I go, hey everybody, those who don't pay, we're going to talk about you on a top 1% podcast next week. Enjoy your meal. Enjoy the grouper. So I must go.
Okay.
Good luck with your lives, everybody. And for you all, stay getting money.
Get a behind-the-scenes look at Indiana's most influential leaders. On Business and Beyond, we go beyond titles and resumes to explore the personal stories, pivotal moments, and hard-won lessons that shape Hoosier leadership. Hear from the people driving Indiana forward in their own words. Subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcast or at ibjpodcast.com.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media Podcast Network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise at ibj.com to learn more.